There comes a moment in every soul's journey when it must rise and remember, I am not here to beg for crumbs. I am here to command the banquet of life. You are not a wanderer in the desert of lack. You are royalty in the kingdom of abundance. The universe was built in your favor, and all of its gold, ideas, and opportunities are waiting for your command. To command money like a queen is not to shout at the heavens. It is to speak from the quiet power of knowing who you are. For when you know that your supply is divine, you never again bow to appearances. You stand tall in the certainty that all that is yours by right of consciousness must find its way to you. The language of the universe is faith, not fear. Fear whispers, what if there's not enough? But faith declares there is always more. Faith speaks and mountains move. Faith commands and money obeys, for money is not a tyrant. It is a servant. It goes where faith sends it and flees from the vibration of doubt. Look at your words, for they are your royal decrees. Every statement you make is a command to the unseen. When you say, I can't afford that, you seal a door. When you say, everything I need flows to me in divine order, you open one. The tongue is not a tool of despair. It is the scepter of dominion. Speak abundance, and abundance will rise to meet your voice. Now imagine the queen within you serene, poised, unhurried. She does not chase. She does not plead. She knows that what is hers cannot be taken, and what is not hers cannot stay. Her calm is magnetic. Her trust is irresistible. She speaks her word once, and the universe obeys. To live in prosperity power, you must also cleanse your heart. No resentment, no fear, no envy can live where wealth is invited. Bless those who prosper. Rejoice in their success. What you bless expands, what you curse contracts. The act of blessing places you in harmony with the very current of prosperity. Gratitude, my beloved, is your golden crown. Wear it daily. Give thanks not only for what has come, but for what is unfolding beyond your sight. Each time you say, thank you for the unseen abundance now appearing, you draw that abundance closer. Gratitude turns faith into form, and remember imagination is your invisible palace. The pictures you hold within determine the treasures you hold without. If you continually picture worry, lack, and loss, you build a castle of poverty in your mind. But if you dare to envision freedom, luxury, and divine sufficiency, you become the architect of your own wealth. The queen commands and then releases. She does not wring her hands wondering if her word will come true. She knows the law is faithful. The same divine power that governs the stars governs her finances. She trusts, and that trust becomes her throne. So today, rise into your prosperity power. Speak your word with authority. Say it as if heaven itself listens, because it does. Declare, money serves me with grace. Opportunities flow to me with ease. Every resource I need appears in divine right order. I live as the queen of my own abundant kingdom. Then, let go and watch the miracle unfold. The universe always bows to the one who knows her power. You are that one. Speak it, command it, receive it, for abundance is not coming. It is already yours. Every soul is born under divine law, and that law declares abundance as your natural inheritance. There is no poverty in the mind of the infinite, for the infinite knows only wholeness, completion, and endless supply. The very air you breathe, the sun that rises, the rhythm of your heart, all are constant reminders that life is designed to flow, not to struggle. When you look at the flowers, do they worry about blooming? When you gaze at the ocean, does it fear running out of waves? No, for creation knows no lack. It only gives and gives and gives. So why then should you, the crown of creation, believe you are separate from this divine order of abundance? You are not. You are part of the same flow, born from the same limitless source that paints the stars and whispers life into every atom. Yet many live as if cut off from this truth. They believe that prosperity is reserved for the chosen few, that success is for those luckier, smarter, or born into wealth. But the truth is that lack is not a reality. It is a forgetfulness. It is the fog that settles over the mind when one forgets their divine identity. You are not a beggar in a universe of plenty. You are not at the mercy of chance or circumstance. You are a spiritual being, clothed in divine authority, endowed with the right to call forth your supply. The universe does not withhold. It only waits for recognition. It waits for your command, for your awareness, for your faith. Prosperity is not something that needs to be earned. It is not granted through suffering or sacrifice. It is already present, waiting in the unseen for your consciousness to receive it. The moment you align with this truth, doors begin to open, the right people appear, the right ideas arrive. The opportunities that seemed impossible begin to move toward you like iron filings to a magnet. For the law of life is simple. What you know yourself to be, you attract. When you know yourself as abundance, abundance must respond. To awaken to your divine right to prosperity is to step into your rightful place as co-creator with the infinite. The same intelligence that governs the galaxies flows through your mind, guiding you to right action, divine timing, and perfect supply. The difference between one who struggles and one who thrives is not in external condition, but in inner recognition. The prosperous soul has discovered that supply is not something out there to chase, but something in here to claim. When you know your source is divine, you no longer panic when bills appear or when temporary appearances of lack arise. You smile inwardly, knowing that just as the sun never fails to rise, your supply never fails to flow. So many say, "I want more money," and yet their words are woven with fear. Their desire carries the vibration of doubt, and so the universe mirrors that back. But when one says, "I am supplied in divine abundance," with full conviction and peace, the entire field of creation rearranges itself to fulfill that decree. For every thought, every word is a seed. If you plant seeds of worry, they will grow into weeds of limitation. But if you plant seeds of faith, watered by gratitude and illuminated by imagination, your harvest will be rich beyond measure. The divine right to prosperity is not a philosophy. It is a law as real as gravity. You can ignore it, but it still operates. Just as you cannot defy gravity without consequence, you cannot live in habitual thoughts of poverty and expect abundance. The universe obeys your dominant vibration, not your passing wish. You must live in the vibration of wealth before wealth appears. Feel rich now, even if your pockets are empty. Feel secure now, even if the evidence says otherwise. The moment you assume the feeling of abundance, you shift your state, and that shift is magnetic. You begin to draw opportunities, people, and ideas that match your new vibration. The divine plan for your life is one of continual increase. You were not born to scrape by. You were born to overflow. Your gifts, your talents, your ideas, they are instruments through which divine supply expresses itself. The infinite has no interest in smallness or lack. It delights in expansion, in beauty, in expression. When you prosper, you become a channel through which more good can flow to others. You uplift the collective by claiming your individual wealth, because every act of expansion blesses the whole. To deny your abundance is to withhold light from the world. When you truly understand your divine inheritance, fear dissolves. You stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop worrying about who has what. You begin to trust that your good cannot be taken from you, nor can it miss you. The supply assigned to your soul cannot be stolen, delayed, or destroyed. It is infinite, for it is drawn from the infinite. You are connected to a source that never runs dry. When one door closes, another opens. When one stream dries up, a greater river appears. The Queen of Prosperity never doubts that her kingdom is secure. To live in this awareness is to live in peace. It does not mean life will never test you. It means you will no longer be shaken. You will look at challenges and say, "This too shall serve my abundance." You will look at bills and say, "Divine substance is here and now providing all my needs." You will look at opportunities and say, "Only what is mine by divine right shall come to me, and I receive it with ease." Your words become commands to the unseen, and the unseen obeys. There is no shortage of money in the world. There is only shortage of belief. the gold in the ground, the wealth in the ideas, the abundance in the ether, all of it is waiting for the consciousness that dares to receive. Do not shrink from your birthright. Do not apologize for desiring more. You are not greedy for wanting abundance. You are aligning with divine nature. The Creator did not make you to struggle in limitation. It made you to reflect its own limitless power. So rise up from the belief in lack. Rise up from the thought that you must work endlessly to earn what already belongs to you. Work is not the source. Spirit is the source. Work is merely one channel through which the source expresses. When you put spirit first, all your channels multiply. The divine right to prosperity is not about hoarding money. It is about understanding flow. It is about knowing that as you receive, you must also give. Giving is not loss, it is expansion. Every act of generosity sends a signal to the universe that you live in abundance, and abundance returns to you tenfold. You were meant to live beautifully, abundantly, and freely. You were meant to know that prosperity is your natural rhythm. When you remember this truth, fear fades, and faith takes its rightful place on the throne of your mind. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You carry yourself as one who knows her royal inheritance, as one who trusts the invisible law of supply. And as you do, the universe bows to your awareness, for it always mirrors what you believe. You were born rich in ideas, in creativity, in divine substance, and when you claim that truth, all the money, opportunities, and resources you could ever need begin to flow toward you. You were never separate from abundance. You only needed to remember that abundance was never outside of you. It has always lived within, waiting for your recognition. A queen never pleads, she commands with certainty and grace. There is a divine authority that lives within every soul, but few ever awaken to it. Most spend their lives hoping, wishing, begging the universe to deliver what they desire, never realizing that begging is the language of lack. The universe does not respond to pleading, it responds to power. And that power is faith, faith spoken with conviction, faith acted upon with confidence, faith that stands unmoved even when appearances contradict it. To command money is to stand in that faith, knowing that the supply of the infinite is already yours. When a queen speaks, her word is law in her realm. She does not ask her servants to obey. She simply declares, and it is done. So too must you speak to the invisible forces of substance with the same regal authority. Do not whisper your desires timidly into the void. Speak as one who knows she is heard. Say, money, come forth in divine order. Opportunities, appear now for my highest good. The universe delights in obedience to such certainty, for your word carries the vibration of creation itself. You are not designed to plead for your good. You were created to command it into existence. Money responds to energy, not emotion. It is not moved by desperation, but by direction. When you speak with doubt, you scatter your command. When you speak with confidence, you crystallize it. Every decree you make must come from the calm assurance that you are backed by divine law, for law never fails. Just as gravity never forgets to pull, the law of supply never forgets to respond. The one who knows this truth never fears lack, for lack cannot exist in the consciousness of divine command. Think of your words as royal decrees. Each time you say, I can't afford it, you send soldiers of limitation to guard your boundaries. But when you declare, I have all that I need and more flows to me now, those words become messengers of abundance, building bridges where walls once stood. The Queen of Prosperity never allows idle or fearful speech to escape her lips. She knows her words shape her world, and so she speaks only those that align with wealth, ease, and divine order. To command is not to demand. Demanding comes from fear, from the belief that something must be forced. Commanding flows from alignment, from trust in the invisible law that governs all manifestation. The Queen never shouts to prove her authority. She whispers and all obey. You must learn to whisper your wealth into being with quiet certainty. There is no need for struggle, for the law already knows its duty. The moment you speak in faith, the unseen begins to arrange itself. Money begins to move through channels you could not have imagined. Opportunities rise from unexpected places, and doors open where walls once stood. But to command with power, your word must be consistent. A queen who changes her orders every hour confuses her court. Likewise, a person who affirms abundance one day and fears lack the next sends mixed signals to the universe. You must be steadfast in your decree. Let your every thought and action agree with your spoken word. When you say, "I live in abundance," then live as if it is already so. Bless your bills as they come, knowing they are proof that divine substance flows through your life. Give generously, not foolishly, but from a place of faith that there is always more coming. Each act of faith strengthens your command. True command is not arrogance, it is spiritual confidence. It is not about controlling the world, but aligning with divine principle so perfectly that the world bends to your faith. It is the calm assurance that everything you need is already moving toward you in perfect time. The queen does not chase after wealth. She draws it to herself by her vibration. Her command is magnetic because it is born of knowing, not hoping. She knows that the same power that spins galaxies also governs her finances, and that the infinite cannot fail her. So many speak of money as if it were something distant or difficult, but money is simply energy, an obedient servant of consciousness. It listens to your vibration and follows your focus. If you focus on fear, it flees. If you focus on gratitude and power, it flows. The queen never worries about whether there is enough. She knows her kingdom is limitless, and you too must come to know this truth. There is no shortage of supply, only shortage of belief. When you begin to speak from your divine authority, something miraculous happens. Circumstances shift. People begin to treat you differently. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open. It is not the outer world that changes first. It is your inner world that commands the outer to rearrange. When you step into your power, the universe mirrors your strength. Life listens when you speak with faith. Say to yourself each day, "I command prosperity now. I command divine opportunities to appear. I command money to flow to me through right action and perfect channels." Say it not in desperation, but in peace. Feel the certainty of divine backing in your words. Speak them once with full conviction and then release them, knowing the law is at work. Do not chase the results, they are already forming. To command money like a queen is to remember who you are. A being of divine authority, created in the image of the infinite. You are not a beggar hoping for scraps from life's table. You are the one who sets the feast. You do not wait for blessings, you summon them. You do not hope to be rich. You speak richness into being. The moment you claim this truth and hold it with unwavering faith, everything in your world begins to rise to meet your word. So let your voice be strong, your words be pure, and your heart be calm. The law hears you. The substance of the universe stands ready to serve you. You need not struggle or strive. You need only to speak with divine confidence. For you are the ruler of your reality, and your word is your wand. Command with love, speak with faith, and the wealth of the universe will bow before your certainty. Your tongue is the scepter of power. What you speak consistently becomes your experience. Every word you utter carries a vibration, and that vibration shapes your reality. The moment you open your mouth to declare something, you set in motion unseen forces that begin to align with your words. The universe does not argue, it does not debate. It simply obeys the frequency of your speech. When you speak of lack, you breathe life into limitation. When you speak of wealth, you awaken prosperity from the unseen. Every phrase you speak is a seed sown in the fertile soil of the universe, and those seeds always return a harvest in kind. The wise learn to guard their words as sacred instruments of creation, for what you repeatedly affirm, you inevitably experience. Your word is not idle sound. It is spiritual law in motion. The word spoken with faith carries the creative power of the infinite because faith gives it life. Many people wonder why their affirmations fail, why their declarations seem to dissolve into air. It is because they speak from the lips, not from the heart. They utter the words, "I am prosperous," but inside they tremble with doubt. Words without belief are empty shells. They carry no energy. The power is not in the phrase alone, but in the consciousness that stands behind it. When your word and your faith unite, nothing can stand against it. You could say one sentence with total conviction, and that single decree could alter the entire direction of your life. The law of the spoken word is one of the oldest truths known to humankind. From the very beginning, creation itself began with a word. The infinite spoke, "Let there be," and worlds were born. That same creative current runs through you. The word is your divine inheritance. It is how you shape your personal universe. Each time you speak, you either affirm life or you deny it. You either open the channel to abundance or block it with fear. The careless conversation of lack, gossip, and complaint builds invisible barriers to good. But words of faith, gratitude, and divine sufficiency break those barriers down and call forth miracles. The mind may think, but it is the word that gives thought power. Thought is the spark, the word is the flame. You may think wealth, but until you speak it, you have not yet claimed it. The spoken word anchors the invisible into the visible, transforming possibility into form. This is why every decree should be made with awareness. Speak as one who knows her voice carries weight in heaven and on earth. Declare your good with authority, not with hesitation. Each day, proclaim aloud your prosperity. I am rich in divine substance. I am surrounded by opportunities. I am guided to abundance in perfect ways. These statements are not fantasies. They are commands to the unseen. The great tragedy of many lives is not in what they endure, but in what they declare. They affirm, "Money is hard to come by," and so it becomes hard. They sigh, "Nothing ever works out for me," and so life mirrors that decree. The universe listens carefully, catching every word, for it is neutral. It reflects whatever vibration it receives. If you speak continually of struggle, struggle will multiply. If you speak of ease and grace, grace will unfold. You cannot speak of sickness and expect health. You cannot declare lack and expect wealth. The law cannot be fooled. It responds only to your dominant command. To master the law of the spoken word, you must train your tongue as carefully as a musician trains her instrument. No idle words, no careless phrases of defeat. If a negative statement escapes your lips, cancel it immediately by speaking the opposite truth. If you say, "I'm broke," quickly replace it with, "I am supplied in abundance. Money flows freely to me." This reversal reclaims your vibration and reestablishes your authority. Over time, your words will naturally align with your higher truth, and you will find that life responds almost instantly to your decrees. When you speak words of faith, you are not pretending that problems do not exist. You are speaking to the higher reality that governs them. You are addressing divine law, which is above circumstance. To say, "I am rich in divine substance," while your purse is empty, is not denial. It is declaration. It is standing in the unseen truth that abundance already exists in spiritual form and must soon appear in material form. Faith does not wait for evidence, it creates it. Each time you speak from faith, you command the invisible to become visible. The voice of faith is calm and sure. It does not need to shout to be heard, for it knows its authority. When you speak of abundance with peace in your tone, your word carries irresistible power. The vibration of peace is the signature of divine order. Speak your affirmations not as if you are trying to convince the universe, but as if you are gently reminding it of what it already knows. The universe is eager to cooperate with your word. It only waits for clarity. Imagine for a moment that every word you speak materializes before you. Would you speak the same way you do now? If your every sentence shaped the next moment of your life, would you still talk about lack, limitation, or fear? You would not. You would speak with reverence, with joy, with precision. You would utter only those things you wish to see manifest. And that is exactly how the law operates, whether you recognize it or not. Every phrase, every joke, every self-deprecating comment is creative energy in action. Speak only that which you wish to see grow. Money, success, and opportunities are all obedient to the vibration of your word. Speak to them with love, not with desperation. Say, I welcome wealth as my divine companion. I bless every dollar that flows to me and through me. I am a channel for prosperity and joy. When such words are spoken with feeling, they establish a rhythm of success in your life. Money begins to circulate with ease. People sense your confidence and are drawn to collaborate with you. Life begins to echo back your declarations. The word is your magic wand. You can lift yourself from lack to luxury, from worry to wonder, from confusion to clarity, simply by mastering your speech. Guard your tongue as you would guard a treasure chest, for within it lies the power to command the riches of heaven and earth. You have been given this authority not to misuse it, but to create beauty, abundance, and blessing for yourself and others. The moment you decide to speak only words of life, wealth, and gratitude, your world will transform. Every spoken word becomes a living seed, and when those seeds are planted in faith, they blossom into prosperity without limit. You cannot attract what you secretly feel unworthy of. The universe does not deliver to your words alone. It delivers to your vibration, to the feeling that lives beneath those words. Many speak of abundance while carrying the hidden belief that they do not deserve it. They affirm wealth but inwardly fear judgment, guilt, or inadequacy, and so their words float powerless in the air, never rooted deeply enough to bear fruit. To truly command prosperity, you must embody worthiness, not as a concept, but as a living frequency. You must know, beyond doubt, that you are worthy of every blessing life has to offer, not because of your deeds, but because of your divine origin. The vibration of worthiness is the magnet of miracles. It is not prideful or arrogant. It is serene, centered, and certain. It does not grasp for attention or validation. It simply exists in quiet power. The one who knows her worth does not chase money, for she understands that money is already in service to her vibration. She radiates a frequency so sure, so aligned, that abundance cannot resist her. She is like the sun. She does not beg to shine. She simply shines, and everything around her turns toward her light. When you feel unworthy, you repel the very good you ask for. You may pray for success, yet secretly fear that you will mishandle it. You may desire wealth, yet believe deep down that people like you aren't meant to have it. These unconscious beliefs act like invisible walls, blocking the flow of divine supply. They whisper lies such as, you're not educated enough, not spiritual enough, not lucky enough. But these are illusions, shadows cast by old stories. The truth is this: you are already enough and have always been. The infinite does not create mistakes. Every cell in your being is stamped with divine perfection, and that perfection is the foundation of your worth. To rise into the vibration of worthiness, you must begin by forgiving yourself. Release the guilt of the past, the self-criticism, the regrets that cling to your heart. The law cannot bless a mind clouded by self-condemnation. When you forgive yourself, you clear the channel through which abundance flows. Say to yourself daily, I am worthy of divine wealth. I am open to receive it now. Feel the truth of those words in your body until every cell vibrates with acceptance. This is not wishful thinking. It is energetic alignment. The universe mirrors how you feel about yourself. When you treat yourself as royalty, life responds with royal treatment. Many struggle not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they do not believe they deserve more. They shrink from expansion, fearing they might lose love or approval if they succeed. But true worthiness does not depend on external validation. It is a divine fact. You do not need permission to prosper. You do not need to prove your goodness to receive. You are worthy because you exist. The infinite would not breathe life into something unworthy of its blessings. When you fully accept this, you will no longer apologize for your desires or downplay your dreams. You will realize that wanting more is not greed, it is growth. To live in worthiness is to live in harmony with divine law. It means you stop resisting good, stop sabotaging success, stop feeling guilty for desiring more. It means you stand tall, speak confidently, and act with quiet authority. It means you walk into a room not seeking to impress, but simply expressing the fullness of who you are. Worthiness radiates through presence. When you know your worth, people sense it before you speak. They respond to your energy because it carries the tone of truth. Your feeling of worthiness sets the boundaries of your abundance. If you feel deserving of little, little will come. If you feel deserving of much, much will flow. The universe is infinite, but your experience of it is measured by your self-concept. Expand that concept. Begin to see yourself as one who naturally attracts luxury, success, and divine opportunities. Say, I am open to receive all the wealth that belongs to me by divine right. Let that declaration settle into your bones. The more you feel it, the more life rearranges itself to confirm it. The vibration of worthiness is calm. It does not rush or force. It knows that what is meant for it will come. The unworthy mind chases, the worthy heart allows. When you truly feel worthy, you no longer worry about timing, for you trust divine order. You stop comparing yourself to others, for you know your path is sacred. You no longer question if you are ready. You realize that the desire itself is proof of readiness. Every dream planted in your heart was placed there by the infinite as a signal of what is already yours in the unseen. The prosperous mind carries the energy of royalty, not through arrogance, but through remembrance. You remember that you were not created to struggle endlessly. You were not designed to beg for survival. You were created to reign in harmony with the laws of abundance, to express divine excellence through your life. The feeling of worthiness restores your throne. It lifts you from the posture of pleading to the posture of commanding. It transforms I hope into I know. Whenever you feel doubt, return to the truth. You are a divine being having a human experience. Every gift, every resource, every opportunity already exists within your energetic reach. The only bridge you must cross is the bridge of belief. Build that bridge with thoughts of self-respect, gratitude, and grace. Say, I am chosen by the infinite to live richly and give freely. Speak it until it feels natural. Think it until it feels real. Act as though the entire universe supports you, because it does. You were never meant to struggle for what is already yours. You are meant to stand in the knowing that all things respond to your consciousness. The feeling of worthiness is the key that unlocks every gate. When you claim it, money begins to appear through unexpected channels. Opportunities unfold effortlessly. People offer support without asking. Everything starts to move in divine rhythm. The universe delights in matching your confidence. Walk today as though you wear an invisible crown. Speak kindly to yourself. Expect good in every direction. Let your every thought affirm, I am worthy of abundance in all its forms. When you live in that vibration, life will bow to your belief. The doors of prosperity will open, not because you forced them, but because you finally remembered who you are, a radiant expression of the infinite, fully worthy of all the riches it holds. Gratitude is the golden magnet that draws forth prosperity from the unseen into the seen. It is not merely the act of saying thank you, but the sacred art of feeling thanks so deeply that it becomes your natural state of being. When you live in gratitude, you are declaring to the universe, I already have enough, and therefore I am ready for more. This feeling is not a polite ritual. It is a spiritual frequency. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, from resistance to receptivity. It transforms your vibration, and that transformation reshapes the outer world to mirror the joy within you. When you are grateful, you activate the law of increase. Whatever you praise and appreciate expands. The person who constantly notices what is missing will attract more lack, but the one who praises what is present multiplies their blessings. The universe is like an echo chamber. It returns the sound you send out. If you speak words of gratitude, if you feel thankful even in the midst of delay, life will echo back more reasons to be thankful. Gratitude is not reactive. It is creative. It creates abundance before it appears. It tells divine law, I trust you, even before I see the results. Many wait for blessings before they give thanks. But those who understand the hidden law of gratitude thank first and receive later. When you begin to thank in advance for what you desire, you align yourself with the energy of possession. You are saying, I already have it in the invisible, and soon it will take form. Gratitude, then, becomes an act of faith, a declaration of trust in divine timing. It dissolves anxiety because it knows that everything desired is already on its way. Think of gratitude as light. When you turn it on, shadows of doubt and fear disappear. You cannot be grateful and afraid at the same time. The two frequencies cannot coexist. Gratitude replaces worry with peace and scarcity with certainty. It opens your heart, relaxes your body, and allows the flow of prosperity to move unobstructed through your life. The grateful soul does not strain or struggle. She radiates calm assurance, and abundance rushes toward her like water flowing to the lowest point. To cultivate gratitude, begin with what you have right now. Look around your room, your life, your body, your breath. Every heartbeat is proof of divine generosity. Every sunrise is a reminder that you are blessed beyond measure. If you woke up this morning, you already have a gift that millions prayed for. If you have food, shelter, or even the means to read these words, you have something to honor. Gratitude grows when you focus on the simple, the small, the overlooked. The moment you say, thank you, sincerely, you shift into the realm of abundance. It is not enough to think gratitude. You must feel it. Feel it like a warm current running through your chest. Feel it until your whole being hums with appreciation. The vibration of gratitude is magnetic. It pulls good from all directions. People sense it. Situations change. Even challenges seem to soften when met with thankfulness. A grateful person is never a victim, for they see divine order in everything. They understand that even delays and detours are blessings in disguise. They say, thank you for what is, and thank you for what is becoming. Gratitude also cleanses the mind of resentment and comparison. When you are truly grateful, you cannot envy others, for you recognize that there is enough for everyone. You stop asking why them and start affirming I'm next. Gratitude connects you to the infinite supply that feeds all creation. It dissolves jealousy by reminding you that what others receive is proof of what is possible for you. Every time you celebrate another's success, you increase your own vibration and magnetize your next miracle. The prosperous soul gives thanks even for what once seemed lost, for loss is often the clearing that makes room for something greater. When you can say thank you, in the midst of confusion, you rise into the level of mastery. Gratitude in good times is pleasant. Gratitude in difficult times is powerful. The one who can say thank you while walking through the valley is the one who soon finds herself on the mountaintop. Gratitude transforms trials into teachers and pain into power. Each day, take a moment to list your blessings, not mechanically, but reverently. Speak your thanks aloud. Thank you for my home. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the wisdom gained through experience. Thank you for divine supply, which never fails. Speak these words with feeling, for your words carry energy. When you send them into the ethers with love, they return multiplied. Gratitude is a form of prayer that never fails. It does not beg, it celebrates. It does not demand, it declares. The grateful heart is the most powerful magnet for prosperity because it already lives in abundance. Gratitude turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, the routine into the miraculous. When you rise each morning in thanks and rest each night in appreciation, your life becomes a song of harmony with divine law. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop fearing and start flowing. You begin to see that money, opportunities, and success are not rewards for effort alone. but reflections of your emotional state. The higher your gratitude, the greater your abundance. So bless everything in your life, your challenges, your victories, your lessons, your growth. Bless every person who has crossed your path, for they have shaped your soul. Bless your past, for it brought you here. Bless your future, for it is already unfolding in divine perfection. When gratitude becomes your way of life, the universe cannot help but respond with generosity. You will find yourself surrounded by blessings so abundant that you will stand in awe and say, "I am grateful beyond words, and yet I know this is only the beginning." Faith is the invisible currency of the universe. It is the unseen wealth that precedes every visible manifestation of money, success, and opportunity. Before gold fills the hand, faith must fill the heart. Before wealth appears in your bank, it must first be established in your belief. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. It is the deep, unwavering conviction that what you desire already exists in the invisible and is now making its way toward you. When you truly live by faith, you no longer chase after money. Money begins to obey your vibration. You become the cause, not the effect. Faith is magnetic. It attracts whatever aligns with its frequency. The one who doubts repels, the one who believes commands. Many people pray for abundance but cancel their prayers with fear and worry. They ask for increase but then speak of limitation. They affirm wealth but act in anxiety. Faith cannot flourish in a divided mind. You cannot affirm abundance in the morning and expect prosperity while entertaining fear in the night. The universe responds not to words, but to energy, to the emotional certainty that underlies your declarations. Faith is a spiritual force, not a fragile hope. It is bold, decisive, and creative. It does not tremble before appearances because it knows appearances are temporary shadows. Faith looks beyond the visible and claims what is true in the invisible. When you walk by faith, you no longer measure your life by what you see in your wallet, but by what you know in your spirit. You declare, "My supply is infinite. My prosperity is unfolding perfectly." That declaration, when spoken with conviction, moves mountains in the unseen realm. You must train your mind to hold faith as your first reaction, not your last resort. When a bill arrives instead of fear, speak faith. Divine substance is now manifesting to meet this need. When you face delay instead of doubt, affirm, "Everything is working in divine order." When you encounter lack instead of despair, say, "This is only a passing illusion. My abundance is secure in the mind of the infinite." The more you practice faith, the more natural it becomes. Like a muscle, it strengthens through use. Faith does not depend on evidence. It creates evidence. It turns unseen potential into visible form. The greatest inventors, artists, and visionaries were all guided by faith, the faith that what they imagined could become real. The same principle applies to your prosperity. When you hold a mental image of abundance, when you see yourself as prosperous, worthy, and supported by divine law, that image begins to crystallize in your outer life. Faith gives substance to thought. It clothes invisible ideas in tangible form. When you waver in faith, money and opportunities waver too. When you stand firm, the universe stabilizes around you. This is the secret. Outer chaos cannot touch the one who is anchored in inner certainty. Faith says, "Though I do not yet see it, I know it is already mine." This vibration commands creation. The moment you align your feeling with the finished result, divine law begins to rearrange circumstances to match your belief. People appear, doors open, and what seemed impossible suddenly becomes effortless. Faith is not passive, it calls for action. But it is not frantic action, it is inspired action. The one who acts in fear says, "I must make this happen." The one who acts in faith says, "I am guided to do only what is needed, and all else is handled by divine order." Faith-filled action is graceful. It moves in rhythm with intuition. It is neither rushed nor hesitant, for faith knows timing is perfect. When doubt arises, and it will, do not condemn yourself. Simply remind your mind of truth. Say, "I choose faith over fear." Repeat it until the vibration of certainty returns. Doubt is merely the shadow of past conditioning. Faith is the light that dissolves it. Every time you choose faith, even in small moments, you strengthen your spiritual wealth. Each act of faith is a deposit in your invisible bank account, an account that pays interest in miracles. Faith also requires detachment. You must let go of how and when the blessing will come. The anxious mind tries to control the process. The faithful heart simply allows. Let the universe decide the method. Your task is not to force outcomes, but to sustain the vibration of assurance. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up daily to check its progress. You trust the soil. In the same way, when you speak your word for abundance, you must leave it in the soil of divine law and know it will bloom at the perfect time. To live by faith is to walk as if the unseen were seen, to feel as though the promise were already fulfilled. Faith transforms every step into certainty, every challenge into a test of strength, every delay into divine preparation. The one who masters faith becomes unshakable. Money may fluctuate, circumstances may shift, but their peace remains unbroken. They know that the source of supply is not in the economy, the job, or the market. It is in the infinite intelligence that sustains all creation. So hold faith like a torch in the darkness. Let it light your path when the way seems uncertain. Declare daily, I live in the substance of faith, and it never fails me. Speak as though prosperity were already flowing, act as though success were already assured, and feel as though every door were already open. The universe cannot resist such conviction. Faith is the invisible hand that moves the visible world. When you possess it fully, you will see that money, success, and opportunity have always been waiting for your belief to call them forth. Money is not your master, it is your servant. It was never designed to control you, but to obey you. It is not a tyrant that dictates your life, but a loyal messenger that carries out your beliefs. The moment you understand this, you step into true prosperity consciousness. You stop chasing, begging, and fearing money, and you begin to command it through the authority of divine law. Money has no will of its own. It simply mirrors your inner vibration. It moves according to your faith, your confidence, your emotional tone. If you fear it, it flees. If you respect it, it responds. If you love it without attachment, it flows freely and faithfully in your life. Most people serve money unconsciously. They wake up worrying about it, work anxiously for it, and lose peace over it. They allow money to dictate their emotions and decisions. Yet, the moment you bow to money, you lose your power over it. The divine design was never meant for you to serve substance. Substance was meant to serve you. You are the heir of infinite supply, the representative of divine intelligence on earth. You are not a beggar in the kingdom. You are a co-creator. Money is a tool, not a master. It has no consciousness except the one you project upon it. When you see it as fearful, it becomes fearful. When you see it as plentiful and obedient, it begins to act accordingly. Money carries your mental and emotional signature. Every thought and feeling you have about it sends instructions into the universe. If your thoughts say, I never have enough, the law fulfills that pattern faithfully. If your thoughts say, money flows to me with ease, that pattern also takes form. The universe does not judge which belief to grant. It simply mirrors what you believe most strongly. Therefore, if you wish to command money, you must first master your inner dialogue about it. Speak as one who knows money is a loyal servant, not a rare miracle. Declare, money is divine energy in motion. It serves my purpose and multiplies under grace. To master money, you must first respect it. Not in fear, but in honor. Treat it well when it arrives, and it will bring its friends. Handle it with care, gratitude, and intention. Even a small amount deserves your appreciation, for how you treat the little determines how much more you can be trusted with. The person who grumbles while paying a bill forgets that each payment is proof of having already received something of value. Every outgoing flow is an affirmation of circulation. Bless your bills as they go out, saying, this money returns to me multiplied through channels of divine abundance. When you bless your giving, you magnetize your receiving. The true master of money is never desperate. Desperation repels supply. The vibration of panic says, I am separate from my source. And the law responds by showing more separation. Instead, operate from calm dominion. Command your money with assurance. Say to yourself, I am divinely supplied in every moment. My wealth is secure in the infinite. Feel the truth of that statement in your entire being until anxiety dissolves. The moment your energy shifts from fear to faith, the channels of prosperity open again. Money responds to clarity and purpose. When you know why you desire it to expand good, to serve others, to express creativity, it flows more freely. Aimless desire creates stagnation, but purpose-driven desire creates movement. Money loves direction, it needs a mission, so give it one. Say, I use money to create beauty, to spread love, to uplift others, to express the divine in form. When you align your intention with goodness, your wealth becomes sacred energy, blessed by divine law. You are no longer chasing personal gain. You are channeling divine abundance. Never speak ill of money. Words carry vibration, and to curse money is to block your own flow. Never say, money is evil, or it's hard to earn. Say instead, money is a form of divine circulation. It flows to me easily and joyfully. The universe takes your words literally, for it is a precise mirror. Every declaration becomes a command. When you speak positively about money, even before seeing proof, you train your subconscious mind to align with abundance. Soon, circumstances begin to echo your new beliefs. Unexpected income, fresh opportunities, and divine coincidences start appearing because your energy finally matches your desire. The one who commands money is not greedy. They understand that abundance is infinite and that sharing multiplies wealth. The miser believes giving reduces his store. The master knows giving increases it. Every act of generosity opens a greater channel of return. Give with joy, and the universe rushes to fill the space you created. The flow of money is like breathing. You must exhale to inhale. To command money is to trust this rhythm, to know that every outflow guarantees an inflow. When you stand in your spiritual authority, money begins to recognize its rightful ruler, you. You do not chase it, for you know it cannot escape you. You do not hoard it, for you know more is always coming. You do not fear it, for you understand it is only energy taking form. You begin to walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows that divine substance is unlimited and always available. You use money wisely, joyfully, and fearlessly. Remember, money has ears for the voice of command, not the tone of complaint. Speak to it with authority, not desperation. Bless it, guide it, and direct it toward good. Say daily, money, you are my servant. Go forth and multiply. Return to me richly and bless all you touch. Then release it with trust. You will soon see money flowing into your life in ways you could not have planned. For when your consciousness rises to the place of mastery, the outer world cannot help but obey. You were never meant to be enslaved by paper or numbers. You were meant to reign with wisdom, peace, and dominion over all material things. The moment you remember your divine inheritance, money bows to your belief. It becomes your faithful ally, your obedient servant, and your joyful companion in the grand expression of abundance that is your birthright. True prosperity begins with alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. You cannot affirm abundance with your lips while feeling fear in your heart and expect miracles to appear. The universe reads vibration, not vocabulary. Every thought emits a signal. Every emotion adds power to that signal. When your thoughts and feelings contradict each other, you send mixed messages to divine law, and your results reflect that confusion. But when your mind and heart move as one, the power of creation is unleashed. Alignment is the secret frequency of the prosperous soul. It is harmony between belief and behavior, faith and feeling, vision and vibration. Many speak words of prosperity yet live in the consciousness of lack. They say, I am rich, but they worry about tomorrow. They affirm wealth, but they panic at every bill. They visualize abundance, but they act as though scarcity still rules their world. This divided energy cannot attract lasting good, for the universe mirrors the dominant emotion, not the temporary thought. You must therefore align the inner and the outer. Your affirmations must feel true in your body. Your emotions must harmonize with your declarations. When you feel what you speak, you charge your words with creative fire. Alignment begins in the mind. You must train your thoughts to dwell only on that which you desire, never on what you fear. Worry is negative faith. It is belief in the opposite of your good. To align with prosperity, replace worry with imagination. Instead of picturing lack, picture overflowing wealth. Instead of rehearsing failure, rehearse success. Instead of asking, "What if it doesn't work?" ask, "What if it does?" Every time you shift a fearful thought to a faithful one, you realign yourself with divine supply. But thought alone is not enough. Feeling gives it life. The universe does not respond to cold words, it responds to emotional certainty. Feel now how it would feel to have all your needs met, to walk in freedom, to know that money and opportunity flow to you with ease. Feel it so vividly that it becomes real in your consciousness. That feeling is the vibration of alignment. When your feelings and thoughts agree, you create a magnetic field that draws abundance like iron to a magnet. Then comes the third key, action. Alignment without action is incomplete. Faith without movement is like a seed never planted. The universe honors momentum. When your actions reflect your belief, your energy multiplies. If you believe in prosperity, act like it. Carry yourself with confidence. Speak with assurance. Give with generosity. Plan with expectation. Dress, walk, and move as one who knows she is supported by divine substance. The smallest action taken in faith has more power than hours spent in hesitation. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you enter a flow where everything begins to synchronize. Money arrives just when needed. People appear at the right time. Doors open effortlessly. You no longer push, you attract. You no longer chase, you magnetize. Life begins to move in rhythm with your belief. This is the harmony of divine order, where what you desire and what you experience become one. To stay aligned, you must also release contradictions. Stop declaring wealth while gossiping about those who have it. Stop affirming abundance while complaining about prices. Stop blessing prosperity in words and cursing it in emotion. Every complaint weakens your vibration. Every judgment cuts off your flow. You cannot resent wealth and receive it at the same time. Bless others' success, for their abundance proves that wealth is possible for you too. Celebrate every sign of increase, whether it appears in your life or someone else's. What you bless, you multiply. Alignment also means integrity, being the same person in secret that you are in public. You cannot attract divine wealth while operating in deceit or resentment. Divine supply flows through purity of intention. Be honest in your dealings, keep your promises, forgive those who wronged you, for resentment creates energetic knots that block your flow. When your heart is clean and your conscience clear, money flows through you like a river unblocked by stones. There will be moments when you feel out of sync, when fear whispers, when old beliefs resurface. Do not resist them, realign instead, breathe, center yourself, speak truth again. Say, "I am one with divine abundance. I am calm, confident, and aligned with infinite supply." The moment you return to that vibration, everything begins to adjust. Your reality always follows your energy. Alignment is not about perfection, it is about harmony. Even if the outer world looks uncertain, stay steady inside. The storm may roar, but your consciousness must remain peaceful. When you are internally aligned, no external circumstance can shake your prosperity. The world may shift, but your supply will not, for your wealth comes from the infinite, not from conditions. So walk as one who knows the truth. You are already abundant. Act, speak, and think from that awareness. When thought, emotion, and action unite under the law of faith, creation becomes effortless. You no longer plead with the universe, you harmonize with it. You no longer wait for wealth, you become the vibration of wealth. And when you are that vibration, abundance cannot stay away. It must come, it must appear, It must obey, for divine law always responds to perfect alignment. Money is not earned by struggle, it is magnetized by consciousness. It does not come because of strain, competition, or exhaustion. It comes because of alignment, certainty, and vibration. The one who sweats in fear repels it, while the one who acts in faith attracts it. The world teaches toil and tension, but divine law teaches flow and faith. You were not created to chase wealth through endless anxiety. You were designed to receive it through effortless harmony with spiritual law. The harder you push from fear, the further money runs. But when you move with calm conviction, the universe rearranges itself to deliver what is yours. There is a sacred difference between action born of fear and action born of faith. Fearful action says, "I must do everything myself or I will fail." Faithful action says, "I am divinely guided, and everything I touch prospers." Fearful effort tightens the body and clouds the mind. Faithful effort relaxes the spirit and clarifies the path. You cannot manifest abundance from the energy of panic, for panic is a declaration of separation from your source. The one who trusts the divine law knows that prosperity is not the result of strain, but of spiritual poise. Money responds to energy, not exhaustion. You may work tirelessly and still struggle if your inner state is one of scarcity. You may do less and attract more if your energy radiates abundance. It is not the number of hours you labor, but the quality of vibration behind your labor that determines your results. When you act from joy, clarity, and purpose, your work becomes a magnet for increase. When you act from fear, resentment, or desperation, your work blocks the very flow you seek. The law is precise. You receive according to your consciousness, not your calendar. Rest is not laziness, it is alignment. Silence is not idleness, it is strategy. There are times when divine wisdom whispers, "Be still." For in stillness the next inspired action reveals itself. The frantic mind cannot hear intuition. But when you quiet your thoughts, the inner voice of guidance leads you to the exact people, ideas, and opportunities that multiply your wealth. The most powerful creators act less and manifest more, because their inner vibration is pure, confident, and uncluttered by fear. To attract money easily, release the belief that it must be hard. You are not rewarded for struggle, you are rewarded for alignment. The universe does not pay wages, it responds to frequency. Imagine two people selling the same thing, one in tension, one in peace. The peaceful one sells with ease because calmness is magnetic. The tense one pushes opportunities away because their energy whispers lack. The difference is not in skill, but in vibration. This is why joy is your greatest business partner. When you do what you love, money cannot stay away because joy is the purest signal of divine alignment. Joy tells the universe, "I am in my true purpose," and the universe rushes to support you. Money follows joy like a shadow follows light. So instead of asking, "How can I make more?" begin asking, "How can I feel better, freer, more inspired?" The moment you lift your emotional state, you lift your financial state. When you move from peace instead of panic, you begin to notice divine timing. You no longer chase opportunities, you attract them. You no longer plead for supply, you command it through certainty. The doors that were once locked suddenly open because you stopped pounding on them and started aligning with them. This is the secret behind every effortless success story, not luck, but inner stillness. The prosperous mind is patient. It knows that nothing real can be rushed. It trusts that what belongs to it will come at the perfect moment, through the perfect channel. Impatience is a form of disbelief. It says, "I don't trust divine order." But patience says, "Everything I desire is on its way, and I am ready to receive it with grace." This faith-based calmness accelerates manifestation far more than nervous effort ever could. Remember this law: what you chase, you push away. What you embody, you attract. If you chase money with fear, you affirm that it is separate from you. If you embody abundance through peace, confidence, and gratitude, money has no choice but to find you. This is not superstition, it is energetic law. You are a magnet, constantly broadcasting signals of either scarcity or sufficiency. Align those signals with the vibration of wealth, and the material world will conform. So, breathe deeply. Release the tension in your mind and body. You do not need to fight for what is already yours by divine right. You do not need to struggle for your supply. You only need to attune to it. Say to yourself, I am calm, confident, and divinely supported. My wealth flows easily and joyfully to me now. Let this become your new rhythm, a rhythm of ease, grace, and faith. When you live by this rhythm, your work becomes worship, your rest becomes creation, and your wealth becomes a reflection of divine harmony. You will no longer toil as one seeking survival. You will create as one who knows abundance is natural. For money was never meant to be the reward for your struggle, it was meant to be the echo of your belief. Money is not something you chase, it is something you command through the unwavering authority of belief. The world may tell you that money is controlled by markets, positions, or luck, but in truth, it is governed by the invisible power of your consciousness. Your words, your emotions, and your expectations form a decree, a spiritual command that shapes your experience of wealth. When you speak from faith, heaven and earth move to fulfill your words. When you speak from fear, even what you have begins to scatter. The power to command money begins in the realization that you are not a beggar before life, you are the divine authority through which life manifests abundance. You do not have to plead for wealth. You must declare it. The tone of your inner dialogue becomes the tone of your outer reality. Every time you say, I can't afford that, you command lack. Every time you say, money flows to me freely and easily, you command prosperity. The universe obeys your conviction, not your complaints. It does not respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. Your words are your wand, and your belief is the power that activates it. When you speak with assurance, creation begins to take form immediately, drawing into your life the supply that matches your spiritual decree. To command money, you must first command your thoughts. The mind that doubts its worth cannot attract wealth. The heart that feels unworthy of luxury cannot hold abundance. You are the vessel through which prosperity flows, but if the vessel is filled with fear, guilt, or shame about money, it cannot receive. You must cleanse your inner space from every limiting belief that whispers, I don't deserve this, or it's wrong to be rich. There is nothing holy in lack, there is holiness in right use of supply. Wealth in divine hands becomes a force for expansion, generosity, and healing. The universe rejoices in your prosperity because it proves that divine law works perfectly through you. Command does not mean arrogance. It means authority rooted in divine alignment. The arrogant person demands from fear of loss. The true commander speaks from unity with divine power. When you declare, money comes to me now in perfect ways, you are not trying to control others, you are affirming your harmony with the infinite source that supplies all things. You are aligning your frequency with the rhythm of prosperity that already exists. The moment you believe that your good is present, unseen but sure, it begins to appear in visible form. You cannot command money while feeling powerless. Powerlessness is the language of separation. When you see yourself as small, struggling, or forgotten, your vibration says, I am not ready. The law must mirror that back. But when you rise in dignity and affirm, I am divinely supplied, your very presence shifts. Your walk changes, your tone carries quiet certainty, doors open, opportunities appear. You begin to move as one who expects increase, and the universe must obey that vibration. The secret is this: money does not respond to need, it responds to identity. If you identify as poor, even with riches in your hand, you will feel lack. If you identify as abundant, even with little, you will magnetize wealth. Your outer world reflects the image you hold within. Speak as one who already possesses what they seek. Live as one who already has more than enough. Give thanks before it arrives. That gratitude is your royal decree, it says to the universe. I trust the unseen supply. Every word of command must be followed by unwavering faith. You cannot affirm abundance 1 hour and then worry the next. You cannot declare money flows to me while fearing tomorrow's bills. The energy of doubt cancels the decree, but the energy of faith multiplies it. So guard your mind as a queen guards her throne. Let no negative thought trespass. Replace every fearful whisper with a declaration of power. I am a magnet for divine supply. Money comes to me through endless, effortless channels. To command money is to command peace. When you are peaceful, you radiate mastery, and money seeks out the vibration of mastery. Chaos cannot hold abundance, serenity can. So when your finances feel uncertain, do not react in panic, go within. Breathe, affirm that all is well. The invisible realm is rearranging itself in your favor. The universe cannot abandon one who stands in faith, for faith is the language of creation itself. Every time you affirm your divine authority over money, the old patterns of lack dissolve. You begin to walk in a new rhythm, a rhythm of ease, grace, and expectancy. You no longer beg for blessings. You broadcast abundance. Your very energy becomes a command that echoes through the ethers. I am rich in mind, rich in spirit, rich in substance. And so it is. For the law is eternal and unfailing. What you claim with belief becomes your reality. Speak wealth, think wealth, act wealth, and wealth will answer your call. Money is your obedient servant, not your master. It comes to fulfill your purpose, to magnify your good, and to prove that divine supply never fails. Command it with faith, rule it with wisdom, and let it flow in endless measure, for you were never meant to struggle for money. You were meant to reign over it.